So today's session that we had was in terms of trends in tax litigation, and one of the key issues which sort of came up is, as we are moving towards more global laws in terms of the BEPS, etc., how do we see India as a participant in this? Because if we look at both customs valuation, which is a global law, or transfer pricing, we do see that while we have a global law, there is a very local interpretation that India takes, and this interpretation is very different from what we see in other parts of the world. And clearly, in terms of the ease of doing business in India, one of the key concerns of MNCs is that they are not getting treated on tax issues in the same way in terms of tax interpretation in India as they are elsewhere in the world. So issues which are otherwise in the world innocuous, issues which are otherwise in the world non-contentious, in India those are becoming contentious, and the worry is that once they become contentious in India, they may start spreading everywhere else. So clearly one of the issues that is of concern of industry is that India ought not to be in a phase where it is seen as interpreting differently and adversely as compared to the rest of the world. The other key issue which came up, which was of some interest, was what will be the life of litigation under GST. One perception held in some boardrooms is that there will be almost no litigation after GST. And as we see the law emerging, as we see the duality in terms of state and center both being participants and administrators, the issue is coming forth and quite forcefully that not only will we see a continuance of litigation into GST, we will see a different sort of litigation. So we have till today seen a tax assessee versus tax department litigation. Now there is a likelihood that we will see a state versus state, we will see a center versus state, we will also continue to see assessees versus tax administrators. Now we've never had the state versus state, we've never had the center versus state in a formal setup. And therefore, one of the key worries is always going to be, what do I as an assessee do if two states are battling each other, each saying that I ought to pay tax to them. And while they are battling it out, do I stand on the sidelines? If so, who do I pay tax to? All of these are clearly matters of some concern. And in terms of the future of tax litigation again, as you look at what is going to happen as laws converge, as administrators communicate better with each other both domestically and internationally, clearly one of the big challenges is going to be about determination and attribution of value, whether it's under BEPS or customs valuation or GST, attribution of appropriate value to the correct transaction in the correct way, to the correct entity, to the correct jurisdiction. This is really going to be the abiding issue of the future, and from that perspective, all of the tax community really needs to focus very, very clearly on evolving a better approach and a non-contentious approach to the whole concept of value. Thank you.